Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another trade recap and yeah, YouTube video. Not gonna dilly dally, gonna get right into this, John. All right, so here we go. Open P&L, not open P&L, total P&L of the day, up around $4,000. I only took this trade on my actual fund accounts, not those two Apex evals. I still have those, but I can't trade them right now, unfortunately, because my Trading View or Trade Sinker subscription ran out. So I had to, I don't know, get the cheaper one, and I can only use two connections, and these are Alpha and Trade of it or Tradeify. So anyway, yeah, up $4,000 though, a little over $4,000 on my fund accounts today, which is pretty nice. Um, Slowly getting to profits now. Finally, because I took a pretty heavy loss last Friday. Um, but we are so back. And yeah, I'll get into the trade. So, coming into the day overall, okay, on the higher time frame, to be like completely honest, we were kind of bearish. Like, I came onto the market and we were kind of sitting around here. We were just tapping into this 4 hour gap. This kind of candle is kind of weird, but like we were kind of just tapping into this 4 hour gap, or like kind of around the top of it, but still in this 4 hour. And overall in a downtrend on the 4 hour, daily, daily probably you could say we're bullish. Like again, we've kind of just been consolidating on the daily. Um, the reason I came into the day a little bit more neutral is because we did just take out all this high time frame liquidity with these lows here. And we were starting to see like kind of a move up, like off these lows, off this sweep. So kind of neutral coming into the day. Ideally, I wanted to wait for 10 a.m. news, and that's what ended up happening. I didn't take any trades up until 10 a.m. news, because there really was not a single entry. So we were just consolidating on the low time frame, and then as soon as market opened, we just shot up and we just kept going up. There was really no continuation longs or any opportunity for longs with inversions at least. Yeah. So at this point, I'm just waiting for 10 a.m. news. We get a little bit of a pullback. So I like this little pullback here, um, into this 5 minute gap. So normally, like, I would be looking at this pullback and wanting to see like we were taking out all this LR. We have all this trend line liquidity here that we were sweeping. So I was like open to a mech model short at any point. However, the reason I didn't take any sort of mech model short or even really look for one, um, was because we had no key levels along this, or no higher time frame gaps along this entire leg. So typically, if you're like confidently gonna look for a reversal, I would say you want a like large liquidity sweep, and also tapping into a or like a higher time frame gap. Um, Maybe even an unmitigated one, like, but a high time frame gap. Like as you can see, we just tapped back into this 4 hour bearish gap, so you could have potentially used that. Uh, that for shorts. Like once we came up here, mech model. You could have used the mech model like all the way up here, on this 5 minute inversion. I was looking, like we had a 5 minute inversion here, stops at this, and then targeted like this unfilled 5 minute for like a 1-to-1 about. The only problem I didn't like with this, even though we tapped into this gap, but we didn't really have a liquidity sweep at this point. Like, again, this is all LR. I would have waited for this to get swept. Like, you could have taken shorts off of this, right? We have this kind of high time frame. Okay, this is a New York AM session from yesterday, so we have a sweep of New York AM session high from yesterday, tapping into this 4 hour bearish gap. Uh, and then you just look for the highest time frame inversion. At this point in time, though, price action's a little like choppy. It's a little wicky. We're already in New York PM. I don't really trade that, but like just mechanically speaking, you would take like an inversion here and then target this low on filled lows. You know what I'm saying? The reason I didn't take or I wasn't looking for any mech model shorts as we were coming down here, was because we hadn't tapped into any higher time frame gap yet, or mind you, gotten a liquidity sweep. So that's why I was looking at this move down. I was pretty confident this was simply a retrace and not a the start of a reversal. Like I haven't seen anyone who did that, but you know, if you took this IFG down, I mean, you obviously would have got smoked. Like I haven't seen anyone take that, but I'm just saying like, and the reason that wouldn't have played out was because we are just retracing because we haven't gotten the liquidity sweep, we haven't gotten a high champion key level. So, what do I do once I'm looking for, or once I've like identified that this is just a retracement? I'm looking for inversions to the upside, for a continuation long because we have these draws to the upside. Uh, Not to mention, adding on that, this is probably like the main thing. News gets put in, and we put in this nice little data high. Okay, we put in this a nice little data high right here. So this is like now a valid draw. It is within like lower time frame gaps. Like this is probably like a 15-second gap. So technically the high is protected. But I'm not really worried about that, especially because on the high time frame we are just so bullish. Um, so I want to see price take out that high. I don't want to see. I at least want to see price take out this data high before we head lower, which I don't think we're gonna head lower because we haven't had a liquidity sweep or a high time frame key level. So now a little discretionary, well not discretionary, but we don't have a clean like 1 minute gap here to take an inversion off of. So I did end up taking a 30-second inversion. Right here, boom, with this 30-second gap. So nice displacement on this. Obviously, I think I entered like around here, because I didn't want it to just take the data high while I wasn't in it. And then I ended up holding. I went break even at this data high in case we wanted to hit a reversal. And then as soon as we took this high, I started trailing. And then I had a few like of these swing highs marked out, and my full TP was just at this the body of this wick, the body of this candle. Sorry. And yeah, we ended up hitting full TP, pretty nice, like a 130-point move. I could have sized in a little heavier, but my stop loss was a little bit bigger. It might have even been down here. So I was using micros. I used like 8 micros. So this was around like a little over 500 risk, which is like what I'm trying to do though. So yeah, a little bit like discretionary because there wasn't necessarily a clean inversion here on the 1 minute or higher. It was just a 30-second gap, but I was pretty confident because of how bullish we were. Also with these data highs, also with I didn't see any point along this leg for us to have a reversal. Again, because of the reasons before, and we had our retracement on the 5 minute to this nice little 5 minute push gap, and we ended up respecting it. So overall, like pretty decent trade in my opinion. Again, a little discretionary, but that's just how you gotta play sometimes. And yeah, I was able to walk out with some profits today, which is pretty nice. It's yeah. So that's pretty much all I got for the day. I think these accounts are around $1,000 in profit now. These funded accounts, yeah, which is kind of crazy because I've had them for like 2.5 weeks, maybe more. As soon as I got funded in January, for the last like 2 weeks of January, just completely break even, like, which kind of sucks, but it's just how it goes sometimes. You know, I'm not upset about it. So yeah, we'll see what we can do for the Tradeify one. I need to get it to a $2,100 balance, and then I can start taking daily payouts. And then I think I'm eligible for a payout once I get these alpha ones to like 2,500. But I'm probably just gonna, keep on working building a buffer. I don't want to really worry about the end result too much. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Yeah. I will see you guys tomorrow, and hope you have a good Monday. Make sure you use my code at Alpha Futures checkout if you want 50% off.